What do you want to start with?
Just Trav and Jay. Let's get it going.
All right. NFL awards. First of all, I want to say it was really cool to see Shannon induct his brother.
I thought that was cool.
I thought that was well done by the NFL.
Heartfelt. That was pretty tough.
Yeah, Sterling Sharp definitely deserved to be. That's a long time coming for somebody that should have already been in, I think.
Absolutely. He deserved it.
Jared Allen.
I like Jared Allen.
Did you think that was a good one?
Yeah, he's
That was the end that played for Minnesota and Kansas City.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think he should have been in years ago.
Eric Allen, I thought, was already in.
No.
The corner.
Yeah.
I loved him, watching him growing up. And then Antonio Gates.
Oh, yeah, he should have been in a long time ago as well.
So here's the question that everybody wants to know. Did Eli get snubbed?
He definitely got snubbed.
He did.
Yeah?
Without a doubt.
I don't know what the problem was with Eli, but they came to a realization that they did not want to let him in because they looked at the votes and how the voting, it wasn't even close. He wasn't even the next guy in.
Mm-mm. Yeah, Terrell Suggs was up for first year eligibility.
Luke Kuechly.
I thought Luke got the snub over Eli. I thought that was a worse snub than Eli.
I don't know about that.
Kuechly didn't get in.
He didn't. No, he
No,
got snubbed.
this is his first year available, as same as Eli, and I thought Luke's snub was a little bit worse than Eli. I just feel like Eli, I did watch this interview the other day when somebody said they had their pick, and they said, can you write the history of the NFL without this person? And that's how you should vote. If you're talking about the history of the NFL, can you write the story of the NFL without this person? And that's when they said that's why they thought Eli was a big snub. Because Eli's snub is you can't write the story of the Patriots' undefeated season without Eli.
That's a fact.
You can't write that Eli's the two-time Super Bowl champion against the GOAT.
Right. He's tied to Tom Brady's legacy.
Right.
He's the only one that beat the GOAT twice.
So, and then when you put it that way, I'm like, oh, so minus stats, his legacy is good. It's kind of like Broadway Joe for the Jets. Come out, predict you're going to beat the Colts. But anybody that thinks Joe Namath got into the Hall of Fame because of stats is crazy. And I feel like I think now that you rewrite, can you tell the history of the NFL without this person is a great way to look at the Hall of Fame award.
What's your argument for Kuechly, though?
I can't think that you can name another linebacker outside of Ray Lewis that...
Brian Urlacher. Go ahead.
I think Kuechly's better than Brian Urlacher. I think Kuechly was the most intelligent linebacker outside of Ray Lewis. I just think he played on a average Panthers team until Cam Newton showed up. They had their run. Then he got injured after a few years of going through being one of the top, playing that position. But intelligent-wise, knowing the game, and Brian Urlacher had a stout defense with him. There was other players on that team that may help Brian Urlacher shine a little bit.
Carolina's defense was decent, too.
Yeah, but they had aging veterans in the line. I mean, Luke Kuechly was young. I mean, that linebacking core, they did add pieces after a while, but the beginning of that first couple of years with him, I think Luke Kuechly definitely, I thought, was a snub.
Yeah, he definitely got snubbed.
I'm not saying you're wrong, and I agree with you. I think the biggest argument for Kuechly was he was in the league for 8 years.
He didn't play.
7 of those 8 years, he was all-pro. The only year he wasn't all-pro was his rookie year. He was the first team and second team. So there was one other linebacker that was as good as him, or 3 other linebackers that was as good as him his entire time in the league.
I think that's part of the problem, though. When these voters are voting, if you had a short career like that, they tend to hold it against you.
They didn't hold it against Barry.
Now
Barry's career wasn't that short.
9 years?
He still had a lot left to give to the game.
He did, but he was tired of football.
He was tired of losing. He wasn't tired of football. They wouldn't let him go anywhere else. He was tired of losing. That's what he was tired of.
You signed your own contract.
Yeah, that's why he retired.
I'm saying no one forced him to stay there. He forced him to stay there.
They wouldn't trade him.
Is Bo in the Hall of Fame?
Hell no.
I didn't think so. I was trying to think of somebody else that had a short career that
his
made it.
career was far too short.
Barry played 10.
1 year more. That's still a short career. But and actually, I think the NFL average at one time used to be the average NFL career is 5 years.
Especially for a running back.
Yeah, running back.
I mean, but you also count there's 53 people on the roster. That kind of those numbers kind of get skewed a little bit when you talk
but
about
back then players played longer. Like nowadays, it's shorter. But back then, players played longer. Emmett
But they
Smith,
also
Barry
didn't play as many
Sanders.
games.
Facts. It's
You
been over.
got to account for Emmitt Smith that every year he had the worst line in football. Every year. Not Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders.
Barry, I was gonna say, Emmitt
Every
Smith
year
had
he
one of
had-
the greatest lines
Yeah.
ever.
Barry Sanders' offensive line was always horrible. Like they keep showing that clip where Barry Sanders shook like 3 people in the backfield, gets down the field, and the offensive lineman's looking around trying to see where he's at. He's right next to him, and he's not blocking.
Well, somebody else made that argument the other night, and I guess it was the Lions table at Mike's that we hang out with. He said, "You guys do know that there was 2 Hall of Famers on that offensive line during Barry Sanders' run. Their center and their guard or somebody are made it to the Hall of Fame. So he did have 2 Hall of Famers, but everyone else, he's like, yes, the other 3 were patchwork every single year. They just never had consistency." I didn't know that. I was like, because I always agreed with your assessment. Like he had the worst line in NFL.
I thought the defense was more of the problem than the offensive line.
Well, that and quarterback.